We begin tonight first at 4 with news out of Candler County as a private plane crash has now been confirmed fatal.
It happened on Highway 21 South, and WSAV's Evan Smoke is joining us live now from the scene. Evan, what have you learned?
A plane came down in the woods near me right here at the Coleman Estates Mobile Home Park. And now we have confirmed that it has been fatal. Now I'm going to step out of the way now so you can get a closer look of the scene. But this call came in around 11:15 this morning after a resident reportedly saw a plane land in the nearby woods and catch fire. Several local agencies responded and extinguished the fire quickly. And Candler County Sheriff John Miles spoke with media earlier today and detailed what we know at this point.
A little after 11 o'clock this morning, we received a call about a plane crash. So deputies, first responders from all over the county and surrounding counties responded. They located an aircraft that had crashed and was on fire. The fire department responded, put out the fire, and we confirmed that it was a fatal plane crash.
What we do know is one person is dead. We don't know how many people were on board or what exactly happened that led to the crash. Now the sheriff tells me that deputies will remain here on scene securing it until federal authorities take over. But for now, live in Candler County, Evan Smoke, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Evan, thank you. Other news to tell you about now. The medical examiner in Washington, D.C. says Republican Senator Lindsey Graham died from an aortic dissection that stemmed from heart disease. Graham's office says the preliminary findings were released last night.
Of course, his death a major implications for both the state of South Carolina as well for the Senate and the entire nation. Senator Graham had just recently re-won the Republican nomination for the U.S. Senate. He was set to run against Democrat Dr. Annie Andrews in November. Now a special primary must be held by August 11th, according to state election laws, to find that replacement nominee.
And happening now, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster is holding a press briefing to reflect on the life of Senator Graham. The 71-year-old died early Sunday morning. Right now, you're seeing a live picture from the State House in Columbia. The governor will also announce who will fill Graham's Senate seat until January 3rd of next year. We want to listen in.
Well, it should be interesting because right now Donald Trump, the president, has pushed to have Graham's own sister be that temporary replacement, saying he does not want, and McMaster does not want, anyone who would run for that seat in this next election to be the one who is that temporary selection for that. We'll have to see exactly who will step in. Those nominations, those people who will step forward, will be happening in the next 2 weeks. McMaster not at the podium yet. We're going to go ahead and check back in with him a little bit later as soon as we tell you exactly who he's chosen officially to fill that spot. And beyond the politician, people in South Carolina remembering the man around the country. Memorials being held in the Palmetto State to the nation's capital. News Nation's Mills Hayes has more on Lindsey Graham.
Many people in South Carolina still in shock over the sudden and unexpected death of Senator Lindsey Graham, who called Central South Carolina home. He always planned to return here after his political career was over, but unfortunately he passed away over the weekend, with the D.C. medical examiner saying that he likely died due to an aorta rupture stemming from the hardening of arteries. He had just returned home from a trip to Ukraine where he announced potentially new sanctions on Russia. A sitting member of the U.S. Senate since 2003 and a member of the House of Representatives before that, Graham has undoubtedly made a huge impact on modern U.S. policy and legislation over his 30 years on Capitol Hill. Those who knew him here in South Carolina remember him as more than a powerful politician, but as someone who stepped in and took custody of his younger sister, Darlene, after his parents passed away early.
So Darlene and I are more the same. We're the same age, and we grew up playing as kids together. And it was always Lindsey that was there watching over us playing as kids.
He had a pretty dry sense of humor, but he was a funny guy. You just had to listen to what he had to say. But just having him around, he put Central on the map, and just being the mayor of the hometown of Lindsey Graham was a great honor.
His death has caused a political shakeup for the midterm elections. Senator Graham was up for re-election this November and had just won his primary back in June by a wide margin. He was expected to face off Democratic candidate Dr. Annie Andrews in November. Meanwhile, several names are floating for a special primary election to replace Graham on the November ballot, including his primary challenger Mark Lynch, Lieutenant Governor Pam Evett, Congressman Ralph Norman, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, and former Governor Nikki Haley, although her spokesperson says she doesn't plan to run for office at this time. As for the timeline, the filing period for candidates opens next Tuesday for that special election, with the election set just 4 weeks away on August 11th. In Central South Carolina, Mills Hayes, News Nation.
Well, as we told you, we'll of course keep you updated with funeral arrangements. Now officially talking about Lindsey Graham and his choice for who's going to be his temporary replacement in the Senate.
My duty and honor to name someone to serve in the place of this irresistible man, this irreplaceable man, this extraordinary man for the remainder of his term. Lindsey took care of his little sister in years long departed. It's my honor to ask his little sister, Darlene Graham, to finish his work for him now. And by the way, Darlene, I don't know if I told you, but after we spoke on the phone in the wee hours of Sunday morning, and you agreed to serve through tears, earlier, I had wondered what you would say, and I was humbled by your quickness to see the duty that you had to serve. And I called the president afterwards, and he thought it was a great idea. And I'm sure that everyone here does as well. Darlene, little sister, come forward, please.
Thank you, Governor, and just bear with me as I try to get through this. But first, I just want to say one thing I've never heard Lindsey described as is irresistible. So, okay, we'll just start with that. But first, I would like to thank everyone who has called and reached out over the past couple of days. I can't tell you how much it's meant to me and our family. I know Lindsey was loved and respected by many, and I greatly appreciate the memories and even the funny stories that have been shared. These shared experiences, along with our faith, have gotten us through these past 2 very difficult days. Next, I want to thank the governor for selecting me to serve the remainder of Lindsey's term. It is such an honor. Lindsey has always been there for me, and now I will be there for him. My brother was the most amazing person, outstanding leader, and just a genuinely good man. He was kind and considerate and loved by his family dearly. As I think everyone would agree, Lindsey worked harder than anyone. He worked nonstop to make our state, country, and world better. He loved his family and loved serving this state and our country. He dedicated his life to our country. It is such a privilege to get to finish some of his important work, and I promise to work hard over the next several months to support the president and carry forward the efforts of my brother on behalf of the citizens of South Carolina and the United States. I know Lindsey thought the world of his staff and colleagues, and with their support, I feel confident. I think this is what Lindsey would have wanted, and I plan to honor him in this way. Now to Lindsey, I miss you more than I can even put into words, but I'm going to do this. I got it. Thank you.
So you just heard it there. Darlene Graham Nordone officially named as the temporary Senate replacement for the deceased Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham died over the weekend, and Governor Henry McMaster selecting his sister, Diane, to serve until the end of the year. Diane says that her brother was kind, considerate, and he loved his family, and she thinks that he would want her to do this. She says she's got it.
And she will not be the full-time replacement. There will be others. There's a full election that has to be done by August 11th, so a quick turnaround on this for that Republican nomination for Congress. Several people, Nancy Mace, current Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette, also expected to be involved in potentially this race, as well as several other candidates who ran against Lindsey Graham to begin with. That period starts next week that they can open up for that nomination.
And Governor McMaster says he did talk to President Trump, and he agreed with him that Lindsey Graham's sister, Darlene, would be the best choice right now to carry out this term.
And she'll be there all the way until January when that new senator is announced. Well, we turn to some breaking news for you now. Police emergency responders outside the Planet Fitness off Victory Drive. Authorities tell us there was a cutting there. It happened about 30 minutes ago. At least one person can be seen in the ambulance. Now, we're still gathering information on exactly what happened. Of course, we'll update you as soon as we learn more on air and online at WSAV.com.
The Coast Guard announcing it has suspended its search for the missing boater off Tybee Island. On Saturday morning, Tybee rescue officials received a call about an overturned boat on the north end of the island. 3 people were confirmed to be on that boat. 2 have been safely located. According to the Coast Guard, more than 590 square miles were covered in the 22 hours of searching, and the search is now paused pending new information. However, we do want you to know that Tybee Rescue has shifted to recovery effort.
And developing right now, we're talking about a crime and safety report connected to this body from the Savannah River. WSV has actually confirmed that there was a person found just before 11:45 in the water near 1 International Drive. The Savannah Fire Department aided police in recovering that person's body. So far, no other updates have been released. It is an ongoing investigation for you. Of course, stick with us right here for updates. And now turning to a crime and safety report connecting to the community and young people before the shooting starts. That is the goal of a local law enforcement officer and his latest idea for outreach. Jake Higgins is a state trooper. He's a business owner as well, employing 214 teens at his various stores. He watched what happened on Coligny Beach at July 4th and saw an opening to help, finding a way to connect with young people, teaching them that officers and deputies are not always feared. They can be friends, can be mentors, and be part of the community. He started a 3-on-3 challenge. It's events that are going to be in a variety of communities to allow people both young and old to connect on a different, a fun, and a peaceful level.
But this is just a way to bring sports to the specific community, going to each community, where the teenagers are, ages 13 to 17, and taking something to them where they can identify as a person of value and that we care about them. That's the whole goal for this.
Since he put this out, Higgins says he's got hundreds of responses from local people, businesses, as well as law enforcement officials, all wanting to help. He hopes to have a first event on St. Helena Island in the next 30 days. Then he's going to move it around to spots all around the county.
WSAV partnering with Ready, Set, Go Back to School for the 18th year now. It is to make sure that local students will be prepared and have what they need to succeed in the classroom.
Our third collection event underway right now at the Walmart Supercenter on Pooler Parkway. That's where we find our own Nakaya Harris live with more on how you can help. Nakaya?
You said it right, Tina. We're here at the Walmart off of Pooler Parkway, helping collect these donations so we can help students before they head back to the classroom. And before we get into what we are asking for, I want you to take a look at this setup we have right here. A woman earlier this afternoon dropped off these wipes and tissues right here for the classroom, and that just shows how much people are showing up for our local kids in the community. Now I'm going to show you this table, some of the stuff that we are asking for. We're asking for composition books, pencils. That is a cool composition book. Not too long ago, someone dropped off this composition book right here. These cool hygiene items. We're asking for toothpaste, toothbrushes, highlighters, Kleenex, deodorant, mesh clear book bags, hand sanitizers, wipes, lotion, you name it. You can go ahead and drop it off right here. We will have a complete list on our website. That is WSAV.com. And if you plan on coming to Walmart, it's simple. Think about grabbing one item and then dropping it off as you head out of the store. Now we have our general manager here. I know you want to give a couple of shout outs to our community partners that have been helping us throughout this whole process.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank Walmart for having us back out today. We started this last week, kicked it off, and we've had a great day today, like you were talking about, just tremendous number of donations. But I also want to thank some of our sponsors. So Coastal Health District, which is part of the Georgia Department of Public Health, they were out with us Thursday over at Victory Square talking about how important it is for kids out there to get their immunizations early, beat the crowd. So we want to reinforce that message. We also want to thank Brooker Medicare, and they'll be with us tomorrow at Victory Square. Really appreciate their support. We do a lot of promotion behind this event. If you check about every break of the station, there's that promotion there. Those sponsors help support that. We really appreciate it.
And I know our whole team loves to do this year after year, so why is it important for WSAV to participate in an initiative like this one?
We know from talking to the folks at Ready, Set, Go Back to School, they're hoping to help as many as 10,000 families across our area, which is amazing. So we want to do that. They've been doing this for going on 20 years. It'll be next year. They do an incredible job, and we want to help them out. So the need's there, and when you connect the community with an opportunity, good stuff happens.
All right, thank you so much. We have much ahead, but I'm going to send it back to you guys at the desk. Stay tuned for that.
Thanks so much. And of course, we're going to hold another event tomorrow. So if you missed this one, you got another day. Find that information, as well as a full list of items we're collecting for this year's campaign on our website, WSAV.com/back to school.